McDonald's got a creamy chili. It looked like chipotle sauce, but put it on my specialized sandwich. It's a biscuit with jelly, biscuit with jelly and a hash brown, and this cream chili because you want to balance out the sweetness with a little bit of heat. You know what I'm saying? So. My mother wound. I don't get it. You know, I see women. I don't know. I don't know whose fault it is. If your woman come outside looking half naked and you allow her to go outside like that, whose fault is that? Sitting out in the park. That was so good. My healing journey started 4 years ago. And then 2 years ago, excuse me, 2 years ago, I finally realized that I had a mother wound. You know, I loved my parents, even though they didn't show me a lot of attention and affection, and even though they didn't show up a lot, I loved them. Why? I had a roof over my head, right? I grew up on Chef Boyardee. And we used to live in a trailer, and in another country, in another state, because my mom was in the army. So we moved around a little bit growing up. So I was a little army kid. Never really told anybody about it, but I was an army kid, right? I never told anybody, but I was an army kid. We lived in Virginia. We lived in Virginia. We lived in North Carolina. We lived in Georgia. But nothing ever came out of it. Nothing ever. I'm talking slow because I just want to stay on track. But nothing came out of it. My parents got divorced when I was 17 years old, when we was living in Georgia. We had left New York City and we moved to Georgia. That time I was happy that we had gotten the place that we had gotten. We had a nice little house and everything like that. And push came to shove. Next thing you know, I'm in New York City having summer vacation, telling my mom that I'm ready to come back to New York, and she was like, I think you should stay out there. And that was the end of my desires of wanting to be at a school. Education was important to me. It was important to me, even I had these two parents here that they didn't really have to be on my back about getting decent grades. But when I was in New York City, I remember I was cutting a lot. I wasn't happy there. The schools was overcrowded. There was no locker room. You had to carry your heavy ass bags with you all through the day, and there was no track meet. It was nothing for me to really get involved with, right? Or the other aspect of it is that my confidence was low, right? I didn't have parents that was bigging me up, supportive. I didn't have those type of parents that was pushing me towards to do certain things and stuff like that. Or even just being comfort or being supportive. They were just in their own importance at that moment, right? Which was if you look at the Maslow hierarchy, the bottom of that hierarchy says just you're providing the basic needs: water, food, clothing, shelter. They're just providing the basic needs. So therefore, throughout this journey, you're going to start learning how to supply the next needs higher up. You know what I mean? But anyway, I don't want to get too far off topic. We're living in Georgia at this time, and I said I was sent back to New York City, and she tells me to stay, right? And she was already, my mother, she was already in a whole new relationship. She was already in a relationship where she was getting married and going to be having this person's child, and they had a child. And totally, I don't know, and my thought process is that she just wanted to start over motherhood. Maybe it was for somebody who she thought loved her, promised her things and this type of stuff, or whatever the case may be. That's what my whole thought process is. She just wanted to start over motherhood. Because where she currently was, she must have been feeling some type of way. right? I could continue telling you the story of being abandoned by my mother, but the only thing I really truly understand about why she would abandon me is that she wasn't happy, right? Why she would abandon her family to start over, because she wasn't happy. She wanted to go start over. She didn't care. She didn't care who she hurt. She didn't care she didn't care. She did not care. She didn't care what she was doing. When she told me that she think I should stay in New York City, I told her, what about? I was like, what about school? What about school? She was like, fuck you and your school. I'm gonna go about my business. That's exactly what my mother said to me. Not necessarily in words, but in action. This is what her actions told me, you know. And as I've gone through healing this mother wound, like I said, I started 4 years ago. As I started healing this mother wound, I only just realized that my mother went to go do what made her happy. She had to go do what made her happy, because she must have been suffocating, dying, feeling like her energy was running low. There was no way to revive what she had going on with my father. She had to go make herself happy. To anybody outside looking in, yeah, that looked trifling. I get it. It does. It does. Because I went through the emotions of like, man, like, this bitch, like, what the fuck? How could she leave me? How could she leave me, you know? But she did. She did what she had to go do to make herself happy. And that's the only thing that I can't knock it. You know, in my adult stage life, in my actually going through how I feel about this mother wound and what, you know, what is it doing to me? How is it showing up in my life? I had to sit down and ask myself, like, what is the problem? Why are you like this? Why are you feeling uneasy inside? Why are you not utilizing your full confidence? Why are you like this? Because you want to be liked by people. That's why. You want to be loved. You want to feel appreciated. You want to feel supported. You want to feel encouraged. You know, you want people to do those things for you. Only to later to find out in life that you can do it for yourself. You fill your own cup. My mother went to go do what made her happy, and she had to go learn the lessons that she needed to learn. So for 22 years after my mother abandoned me, she came back into my life when I was 25. You know, 17, 25, I think those are some pivotal years. Some very important years of a young woman's life. You know, it's going to shape her confidence. It's going to make her feel what she needs to feel. She's going after certain choices. She's learning different things about herself. She's learning different things about boys. She's learning different things about life. No one to share that shit with. No one to share any of the experience. Nothing. I didn't experience life because I had no one to share it with. It was hard for me to make friends growing up because I was big. I was big. I've always been big. Been a big woman all my life. So of course the men that come around me, they just want something easy, and therefore, yeah, I'm easy because I'm seeking love. I want to be loved. I want to be appreciated. I want to be supported. I want to be hugged. I want to be talked to. I want to be caressed. I want to be, you know what I mean? I'm looking for all these adult things because I feel like an adult, you know? Even though physically, age-wise, I'm an adult, but my whole 20s, you know, I just been in relationships with men and not really experiencing true life, the way that I envision life. Going to school, traveling, you know, having my parents by my side, playing sports and stuff like that, right? My mother abandoned me just really knocked a lot of confidence out of me. Because it's like the one person that was supposed to love me didn't love me. But then again, was she supposed to love me? You know, like, there's really no first mother manual, like, you know? It wasn't sitting down reading those type of books on how to be a mother. Yep, our birth would probably looked at as what's this thing for? A burden. You know, our mother wound shit crazy. And so she came back into my life when I was 25, and you know, it was very easy. I forgave my mother. I really did. Like, I forgave her very early because that was instructions from God to forgive her. And that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did for leaving me. You know, but then again, my parents were getting divorced at that moment. So what would I be coming back to? What the hell would I be coming back to? You feel me? Like, this whole mother wound stuff, it's a really psychological mind play. You know, the whole mother wound. When my mother abandoned me, when my mother left, I just kept pushing and going to school and stuff like that because I got this idea that I would just deal with the emotions later in life, and that's exactly what I did these past 4 years. Right? I dealt with it. You know, why am I so easy? Why am I not sticking to my boundaries? Why do I keep betraying myself? Why do I keep going against myself? Why do I keep neglecting myself? Why do I keep doing that and being loyal to other people, mother included? Why do I keep allowing that? Am I hurt? Am I trying to compensate for something else? Why? Why do I keep doing that? And that's when I finally decided to sit down with my mother. I went through my mother's relationship with my father, and also seeing the other two men that she married after that. My relationship with my father, you know, because I'm a daddy's girl. You know, why was I so close to him? You know, only to find out that man was going through his trauma just as well. Everybody was going through shit. So this is what has helped me get through my mother wound healing, because everybody was going through shit. Once you learn that people that experiences shape and nurture your mind and all this type of stuff, once you learn those types of things, you really can't be mad at how people respond to certain things or do certain things. Or, you know, my parents decided to get divorced and they went their separate ways. Why? Because they didn't like each other. And like I said, the money, I don't know if I said it in this video. I hope I did. But once money is involved when it comes to love and family and stuff like that, relationships, when money is involved, there's always a problem. There's always a problem. When there's not enough money, there's always going to be a problem. So we're going to go separate ways. We're going to split up. I'm tired of you. And I know you're tired of me. There's no love here. We're roommates, so we're going to get divorced. Not knowing that they needed to love, they needed to work on themselves. Because they both had failed relationships after that. They both had failed relationships after that. Good. Keep me on track, because tomorrow I will be going. I might go jogging tonight. Go to the gym tonight, later tonight. Go work out, get my gym on. I just decided to let it go. I just was like, you know what? I'm going to let this go. They didn't know what they were doing. Two young people in a relationship with a child, first child. They don't know what they're doing. I get it. I needed to learn certain things so that as I go through my journey, whatever my journey is, whatever my My shift is at this moment. Everything is switching right now. My desires for nursing has dwindled, and I'm ready to start taking on different tasks. I'm ready to start this platform, like really start this platform. This is why I came up here to make this video in the first place. To create a bond now. Like now you understand where I'm coming from, where I'm saying that I have let this go. This mother wound healing. Like I'm not seeking my mother's validation anymore. Why? Because I don't speak to her. So therefore she's not part of my life anymore. I got the closure that I needed. Not necessarily on why she abandoned me, but I got the closure. I understand that my mother was unhappy. And what do unhappy people do? They hurt people, right? So that they can make themselves happy. So therefore, that's my science when it comes to healing, because I don't want to continue harboring this pain anymore. It doesn't make sense to me no more. There's no, and on top of that, there's nothing different that can be done. There's nothing different. If I didn't have a mother, well, what would be different? Yeah, me and my mother would probably be closer. I probably have more siblings. I probably, me and my father, we probably have more family trips and stuff like that. That's another thing. My parents, we didn't have no family trip together because they probably didn't have the money. Finances played a big thing in relationships. You don't have no money. You always at work. We don't know who we are. Are you really at work like you say you at work? Or you're at somebody else's house and stuff like that. Cheating, abuse, what am I going to cook when I get home? I haven't seen my period in a couple months, but I'm not pregnant. I know I'm not pregnant. I'm not I'm not moving my body. And my mom was going through mad shit, son. As I've been with men and realized men and their habits and how they try to gaslight you, manipulate you, and all that type of shit. My mom was going through some fuckery. She was going through some fuckery. And that fuckery prohibited her from being a mother. There, I said it. I said it. This is why I've been able to change my perspective on my whole motherhood. Because it started off like, how could this bitch, and also when I was 25 years old, I told my mom that she hurt me, and I think that's very important that you do with anybody who has hurt you. Let them know how you feel, no matter if they respect it or not. Get that shit off your chest. You feel me? Get that shit off your chest, no matter what. If it's gonna hurt their feelings or not. As a lot of people are afraid to say things because they're gonna hurt somebody's feelings. Nowhere in science, or maybe there might be, hold on, let me pump my brakes, but allegedly, I don't think your feelings getting hurt for 1 to 2 seconds can kill you. That's it. Okay, something hurts you, cry over it for 1 to 3 days, and you keep it pushing. Danielle said so. If something hurts you, you are allowed to mourn for 1 to 3 days. After that, that's it. Bury it. You feel me? But it took me 22 years to get over this mother wound. I was still talking to my parents, so therefore it was just like I overlooked, the abandonment. I overlooked all of that. But I never really dealt with the emotions of it, being abandoned at 17 years old. I never dealt with it. And that's what I did the very beginning. Like, how could you abandon me? What was you going through? This little thing, like really upset about it. To get to this point now that I understand that y'all were just going through a lot of shit. A lot of shit. Y'all was emotionally unavailable for each other. You're emotionally unavailable for your kids, lifestyle, and all that type of stuff. You were just emotionally unavailable. You didn't finish learning what you needed to learn, and then you abandon your child so that you can go and make yourself happy. That's how I perceive it. That's how I understand it. That's how I receive it. And to be honest with you, I'm not mad at it. I'm not upset. I'm not mad. I'm not grumpy. I'm not anything. I'm just like, well, here it is for me right now to make a brand new canvas of life, a whole new life, create my new reality and everything like that. That's why I'm up here today, July 10th, 2025. I'm grateful for this day. You got a whole new canvas. Once you let go of this mother wound shit, like, understand that your mother was just going through shit. She was just a lady going through shit that could not deal with that title any longer. Could not deal with the ties that came with that relationship any longer. Could not deal with whatever she was going through any longer. That she wanted to start a new page herself. My mother abandoned me. If your mother abused you, you look too much like your daddy. Is she? You look too much like your daddy. Well, who knows what our mothers were going through? Who knows? Can't be mad at them forever. So that's my mother wound story. Let me see, a lot of people say jealousy, and I wanted to talk about this in another video, but of course there's a lot of jealousy from your mother, because like I said, your mother wasn't supported, your mother wasn't acknowledged, your mother wasn't loved, right? And here you are, this brand new baby who just ripped out this lady's vagina, or she got a C-section or whatever, is getting all the attention. Then I'm over here dealing with postpartum depression. My hair is falling out. My mother's not talking to me. I don't got no friends to talk to. I'm by myself. My mother, by herself. I could just imagine what she was going through, my G's. There's a lot of videos going up right now talking about just how men change after you have a child. And I know that's exactly what happened with my mother. Because my father told me that he didn't even like her. And that shit hurts, son. Like, that shit fucking hurts. That shit hurts. My mother had to go through what she had to go through to find God, to find Christ, to find Jesus Christ. She had to go through all of that to find Jesus Christ. And there's no reason to be mad at her. Imagine hating on somebody who is just trying to be loved by the almighty love. Do what I gotta do, which is move on in my life, get to my happiness. And I'm just so proud of myself to even just, accept the fact that she and I would never talk again. Because it was hard for me to let go of my mother. Once I got that notion that I would have to let her go, it was hard to let go. It was hard to, be like, okay, you know what, I'm not talking to her no more. But everything just orchestrated that way so that it could happen. And here we are today, just being proud of myself because I was honest with myself. 22 years I was talking to my parents like nothing ever happened. Talking to my father one day, just finding out that he doesn't like my mother, it just made me realize, like, you're the culprit. You're the culprit. You are the major reason why I have this mother wound in the first place. You're the major reason. But I refuse to stay mad at my mother because I want to receive the love that is for me. So if you got any questions, if you want to talk about anything down below, you can hit the comment, you can like, You can subscribe because I have a lot of topics that I want to talk about. I wanted to put this video out because, I just came up here talking. And like I said, I got a mother wound, right? I got a mother wound. And the mother wound, it shows up in so many variations of your life, relationships and all this type of stuff. And the way you handle money. I'm horrible with money. And I want to get better, but I realize I don't want to go to work to make money. So therefore it's I got to work on these crafts, but that money, so I have to find a way to give to God. I have to tithe, the first of your crop. Gotta go, gotta go to God some way, somehow. I have to figure that part out. If you know any way on how to tithe, I want to hear some examples on how y'all tithe. If you tithe, please drop a comment down below because I need some help in that, right? I'm gonna make sure I get the scripture to write here, if you tithe, giving your first tenth to God and stuff like that, because once that type of money start coming in, God, here, I just don't know where to put it. I just don't know where that money goes. But if I'm supposed to just go to a church and just drop it off at the church like that, then so be it. But I'll figure that part out. But yeah, I just don't see myself doing nursing anymore. I see myself being a motivational speaker. I just realized that yesterday, that I want to be a motivational speaker. So that's very important for me to start embarking on right now. This mother wound stuff, that shit was going to have me in a headlock. It was going to have me in a headlock for the rest of my life, and I didn't want that anymore if I didn't take care of it the way that I needed to take care of it, which is now. So that's my mother wound story for now, because like I said, I have a lot of other just simple topics that I can just talk about that I want to get into and stuff like that, and it'll give a lot of feedback for mother wounded warriors and stuff like that, because deep down inside I think I'm not helping anybody, but I know I am. I know I am. Be authentic, be yourself, love yourself, always shine, always be great, always have a clear conscience in everything that you do moving forward. Don't do anything from malice, don't do anything from hurt, don't do anything from anger. It says a lot of stuff like that in the Bible. Do things from the pureness of your heart. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel like I was able to get out of situations unscathed, because I do things from the pureness of my heart. I'll give you a story about Arizona one of these days, and how I just prayed to God non-stop on that one, because sometimes we go against what we're supposed to be doing, and even though we go against, we have to learn a lesson. There's a lesson to be learned. So moving forward, since I have accepted the fact that my mother wound does not bother me no more, now it's time to learn how to surrender. Because with the mother wound had you in survival mode your whole life. So surrendering is the next step in mother wound healing. And I understand surrender to be, let me find it. Where did I write it? Surrender, no longer asking how. You no longer ask how, because how is the way things is going to be done. So if you're going to totally trust that this thing is going to be done, no more questions. And this is where I'm at in my life right now. No more questions. I want people to sow into me, because I really want to get to a point in my life where this motivational speaking really does thrive. That's the point that I want to get to. I want to do something that I authentically love, do something that I authentically like, which is encourage people to live their greatest version of themselves, right? And that's pure joy to me, to see people live in their greatest authenticity. So I came up here and was like, today I'm going to put out this story because you don't know who I am. I just been coming up here dropping little nuggets and stuff like that. But like I said, my name is Danielle, and my name means God is my judge. So we're going to do what we need to do, because because it is time for us to do what we need to do in this lifetime, because we are here to do great things. We are here to be non-mediocre. So strap up your boots. I'm gonna be coming up here talking a lot. I was hoping that this would have been a short video, but for my first video, I think it's okay. It's over 30 minutes because each and one of y'all are very intricate to me, and I want y'all to have I want it to be community based. You know what I mean? I want y'all to talk. I want us to talk and stuff like that. I want to start really getting out there, you know, a lot. There's still more stuff for me to learn, like to me to put this into like a scientific form. There's still more stuff for me to learn, but now it's awesome that I'm able to articulate myself. If you go back to my other videos, you see me. You see me. I was just like Bambi out there in the streets, but now I'm getting somewhere. So stay tuned for fashion hauls. Stay tuned for reviews of, you know, people telling their mother wound stories. I also have some books and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on this channel that I will be participating in. So stay tuned for my videos. Stay tuned for my shorts. Just stay tuned. So I hope you enjoyed what I had to say up here today. And listen, it's all love and forgiveness over here, okay?